And so when I saw the testimonials, that was really where it made a lot of sense to just say these guys are legit. It's part of this whole thing. I'm going to follow it. I didn't realize how tough it would be, but obviously once I got through on the other side, it was glorious. I'm probably one of the few 50-year-olds around that have a washboard stomach without working out, and that's truly from the foods. Everything that was promised and talked about has come true. Yeah, it was just that, and it was those same symptoms that I remember, which was, the blood and the diarrhea and it's almost like the closing of the bowels, like the inflammation. Well, I think in a nutshell, like you're in control. You like nothing's gonna. I dictate what happens. My bowel movements are 2 to 3 times exactly what it said would happen. This process is, I don't want to say it's easy, but man, it's so enjoyable once you figure things out for yourself. I mean, it's blissful. It is like heaven. These foods are a savior.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. Today is testimonial time. I'm joined here by Chris. Welcome to the channel and the podcast. How are you, man?
Doing well. How you doing?
Yeah, really good, mate. Really good. Now, Chris had worked with us in 2020 and was able to heal his colitis, get medication free, and just get on with life. But we're really grateful that he's kindly agreed to join us more than a year after healing now. To share his story. I think, Chris, you wanted to just make sure that you were really well healed, and I guess the benefit had lasted for a while. Let's talk about your journey, about how everything started for you. I think you were mentioning to me back in 2005 you got diagnosed. So maybe we should just start from the beginning and hear a little bit about everything that's happened to you from diagnosis and what the doctors said, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's, since then it's been so long that I've had to deal with it. But really, 2005, it was, ultimately kind of started with stress. And, once that happened, things kind of spiraled downwards because I was never really sick, didn't have any symptoms. But all of a sudden with the stress, I think that everything became inflamed. I didn't know what the heck was going on, and I did the whole hospital thing, and it was kind of a mystery. They knew they had colitis, but they didn't know where it was coming from because I lost a lot of weight, and miraculously, without doing like a vegan diet, I went into remission and kind of recovered. And I actually ironically thought that paleo was a benefit. Man, and I learned things and kind of trial and error, but ultimately it didn't come back until this last I guess it was almost 2 years now, end of 2019. And in between those times, I don't think I was really sick or really healthy. I think I was kind of in searching for the right thing to do, and it wasn't until obviously getting sick and stumbling on you guys, High Carb Health, and going through that process, that things obviously helped tremendously for me. If you would have told me that I would have been a vegan at that time, I would have. I mean, every time that came up, I think David Klein's book too kind of popped up, in the search, and but I think seeing your guys' website and seeing what you guys did, and then obviously like everybody talks about the testimonials, that's when that's when I thought I had to do this. And I was pretty desperate at the time because at this point now I had a family, and it was kind of a little bit more scary, and I didn't know what to do. And so when the symptoms start coming, as everybody does, they kind of do the searching. And here's the difference, I think, from a lot of others. Like, I already knew what I had, and I was not going to do the hospital route and go into a doctor. I already knew that. I already played that whole game. And so when I saw the testimonials, that was really where it made a lot of sense to just say these guys are legit. It's part of this whole thing. I'm going to follow it. I didn't realize how tough it would be, but obviously once I got through on the other side, it was glorious. And I'm here now to tell the story in more detail. But yeah, it was fantastic. To look back at it, obviously now, it's I've talked to so many people. I'm kind of the Shukul and Shamiz Jr. in my talks to them. I'm like talking, like, oh my gosh, I should be a spokesperson, because it really just comes about so much. I really talk about it with family. Family, is really taking hold on my habits, and that's where it's very powerful. And I'm talking about it like a true whole food plant-based connoisseur or expert. There's a lot of things come from that too, with the banana comments, or even the thinness, right? So I had to reread some of the David Klein stuff, because it talks about what you will become afterwards, and one of them is like how lean you will be, or how you'll stick out from people that are supposedly underweight, and where they talk about like are supposed to be in good shape. And I was that guy before, but now I'm like I look kind of like a marathon runner. And I don't do marathons. So
it's true. Although, I mean, you did play professional soccer, indoor soccer, for quite a while, so you're obviously a reasonably fit guy, which kind of
And that's funny, because now I have it's about 10 pounds probably less than what I did. I mean, because some of the definition is definitely there, but there's just obviously the fat. We eat less fat, right? Mostly the animal, the vegetable, plants and plant fat, avocados and things like that. But man, I'm probably one of the few 50-year-olds around that have a washboard stomach without working out, and that's truly from the foods. It's just really amazing. I just can't believe it sometimes. Like when I get to do things. Of course, my knees are sore from playing soccer. I'm not the same, but the everything that was promised and talked about has come true. And just that is just like, it tastes like honey, like you can't beat that feeling, to really think about it, and then for it to become possible. I think part of that is where your help came in.
So let's just dive a bit deeper into your journey and how it was between 2005, and I guess you managed to get it under reasonable control, obviously not 100%, through maybe making some dietary changes, some lifestyle changes, and obviously playing sport would have played a role too, because it kept fit and active, and obviously that helps the body stay healthy. Until so how was it living with that, playing professional sport, and kind of working through life until it kind of came back with a vengeance in a way?
Yeah, I think I really had to like do some digging and think about like when I was actually playing. And I don't think it was, I probably was so caught up, I was a lot younger, in my 20s, and it didn't really factor in a few times. But I had autoimmune issues. I had psoriasis as a kid, and it would it wasn't something that, well, everything's systemic, but it wasn't where it was stopping me from doing things, but it was there. And I think that was part of this, whether that be, a genetic, predisposition for that, or my diet. I think that diet had a lot to, because I wasn't thinking about what I should be doing or eating. I did, but it was the wrong things, right? And then obviously 30s, towards my end of my playing career, it was thinking that paleo and meats were key. And I think I got lucky, by not getting sick earlier with the times that I did, because when it came blown, I was still exercising, but I think that stress component was there, and that probably wasn't when I was in my 20s and footloose and fancy free and just running around and having a good time. I think that the stress component was highlighted more, and then with that, as I've been reading, with that and your diet and your fats, alcohol, whatever, garbage disposal stuff, that boom, and then it exploded, as you guys talked about, as Dave talked about, and so that was
it's one of those lifestyle factors that will trigger your body to cross the boundary or go over the edge, but they're all important. The diet, making sure you're hydrated, making sure you sleep enough, making sure you get enough exercise, and also managing your stress and looking after your mental health. If you're not doing all those things, then you will feel the effects of that. And sometimes if you're on the edge, just one of those things, you go on a binge and you eat all sorts of rubbish for a while, and then suddenly you feel it, or you get a lot of stress in your life, and it just builds on you, and the body kind of gives into it at some point. So stress plays a huge role, and it seems to come up regularly with a lot of our clients, and from when we started doing this work to what we do now, the amount of effort and time we give on stress management has increased exponentially. Okay, so you kind of made it through, pretty good. Was it 10-year professional indoor soccer career in the US, and obviously then other things in life start to become more important, family and other responsibilities. When did you start to see the symptoms come back again, and what was it like? Can you explain some of those symptoms to the people watching, and what kind of things you experienced?
Yeah, you know what? I think I had, and this was probably about 5 years ago, I did have a little bit higher up, but higher up, maybe a gas, like a heartburn, but really where I lost a lot of weight, and I would say that stress and foods were contributing, but I didn't have anything going on with lower in the back in the colon, but I got over that. But I think it was just interesting because stress and foods were still part of this whole equation. So how I healed myself is probably, and I remember eating a lot of sweet potatoes, and again, luck. It wasn't sticking to a vegan diet to do that, but I remember doing the sweet potato kind of, having a lot of those. I don't remember having a lot of bananas, but for whatever reason, my body healed. Fast forward about 3 or 4 years later, there was, I don't know, the stress component, and then foods. I think consuming a high protein, high animal fat diet. I think even like, and I was trying to do I think I told you guys AIP, autoimmune protocol, thinking I had autoimmune, and that was which kind of has I wasn't doing it right, by the way, too, because that incorporates a lot of vegetables, but I had this thing about how meat can be healthy, anti-inflammatory, ironically, and so anyway, it was a big wake-up call for me. But that was when I got into some, I had to do a lot of independent thinking there. I had to kind of stick to my guns about like what was going on, what I didn't want to do, and how I wanted to heal myself. And that became a stress in and of itself, because you're going to get things from, people that care about you, and that just goes along with that whole package. And so, but I remember, I'll never forget, like going through things and thinking, we're trying to brainstorm what could be healthy, and one of them was broth, meat broth, and all these other things, like, and they were higher protein things. So it was just really accepting that, you know what, bro, like, I'm talking to myself, vegetables are going to heal you, and really getting into the book that Klein talks about, and then reading it and going, and you don't want to believe it, right?
Yeah.
The same thing. the taste maybe, or whatever is going on. But I would say what helped me is being really strong. And this is, I'm very goal oriented. In my that once I got on your system, and I would, and I could do it. I can. There's no doubt about it. It was difficult at times, but I'm going to do it. And that my thing was I was going to heal in 3 months, and we did. It was under 3 months, and I remember going, "Hey, let's just keep going on this to 6 months ago." Absolutely, I didn't have to twist my arm. Like, let's keep going, because there's a lot of things that we held off on, and
yeah, we'll talk about all that in a second. I think we should talk about all that in a second. But let's, when it did come back, can you tell us what the symptoms were that you experienced and how it impacted you?
Yeah, it was just that, and it was those same symptoms that I remember, which was the blood and the diarrhea and it's almost like the closing of the bowels, like the inflammation. And then at night I had, where it would wake you up at night, and you would get get scared of scared for your life. And that's when I knew that I was in trouble here, and so I wanted something that would help with that right away. And again, I avoided the doctor thing, and losing weight too. And I don't know, I must be the type to lose weight pretty fast, because it was alarming for a lot of people. It wasn't anything like when people talk about here, or the testimonials, they talk about how it took them a while to lose weight. But for me, it had an impact. I don't know, it might be from some of my other autoimmune issues where, it packs the body, get dehydrated, even with water that I was drinking. And
I think it's definitely common. I mean, Shamiz lost a lot of weight. He lost 30 kilos. That's more than 60 pounds in the space of a month, just over a month. So, but that was really extreme situation. But yeah, it's quite a common thing that if you're having a lot of bowel motions and lots of diarrhea, you're going to lose weight fast. I mean, that's just, you can't really help that. So it's not necessarily an uncommon thing, but yeah, weight loss is quite I guess, unwelcome but important part of the healing process. You need to let the toxins come out of the body. So okay, so you kind of experience and you're like, right, I need to sort this out. And obviously you followed our work and started the program and things like that. So what did you learn as you got the information pack from the program about what you're about to do in terms of how the body heals, the importance of eating a plant-based diet, those kind of things?
Well, that first stage was obviously, and that just sticks with me ever since, was how bananas, how the soft fruit were the healer, right? And that was
the body heals itself. Let's remember that. The body heals itself.
we give it the right conditions.
Yeah. So bananas are part of that. Fruit is part of the conditions that the body uses to heal, but it plays a big role. Yes, I mean the soft fibers are critical. Yeah, absolutely. Carry on.
Yeah, they were, and just learning those concepts early was so helpful. And at the time you don't know. You're like, what am I going to take? I'll do anything. I was in that stage, and so, and it wasn't the most, and that was a hard time. I mean, I'm making it sound so pretty, but that was difficult, because that's when you do lose weight, because you go through the detox and you're limited with what you can do, and you're a little, you're going that confusion. I think Shamiz talked about it too, is like all those changes that are going on. That was me, and doing that and working too. That was difficult. And we were obviously in 2020, but as I shared, and as you guys mentioned too, during that time, it was a little bit in my favor because of being able to stay at home, and work from home. That just having that at the same time, that was really advantageous to me, where I could work and still rest. So yeah, that was really, I was fortunate to have that. There was definitely somebody was helping me, the universe,
Yeah.
to because that was really hard. Obviously bathroom breaks and things in.
Yeah, talk about the detox that you experienced, and what that was like, and what kind of symptoms you experienced as you went through that process.
Just it was around, well, I think they started to go up a little bit, the frequency started to go up, and they weren't anything solid for a while, but it was some interesting things. Especially, I was telling my wife about this, but the hemorrhoids that were so painful. And everybody has different things that go on, but that was so memorable for me, and having to, I'm more of a private person, so I wasn't sharing it with anybody that much outside of our family. But that was really hard. But afterwards, you understand why. It's getting rid of so much stuff. And what? For the most part, I think mine was shorter, according to what I've heard. And I was thinking, God, is that because I don't, how a fast healer in this way, or I didn't take any medication, because obviously when there's medication, there's more to come out. I was already in. But I did have a lot of things in my past, build up of probably a lot. Gut was probably affected quite a bit over the course of, I got psoriasis when I was 5 years old. And that's been a common, that kind of, was not intense or less intense. It's still there. I think there was a gut issue. And now we're talking about fiber that I hadn't eaten for a long time that was helping with that. And it still is. I'm still healing. So yeah, lots of, within detox, there was running to the restroom and still, but it was getting better every week as I continued the program. Things were improving. Mental health was a big part too, that I was really working on. Going on walks and listening to music, listening to Louise Hay. It was ironic. I used to do that. Shamiz was a big, used to talk about that, and he was right, because she's old school, and she's just like one of the pioneers, in my opinion. I know that she passed away a couple of years ago, but she's fantastic. So simple stuff. But I was using that, and trying to walk in the sunshine as the springtime came about. But all that, incorporating all that, the videos that you guys do to help with these symptoms it's forward thinking, and it's something like, Dr. Klein, he did a great thing, but you guys have made it really taken up a notch, and especially for the social media art, generation, or whatever you want to call it. It's something that I'm surprised you don't get 5 million subscribers, because the secret that no one really knows about, if there's all stuff out there, but you guys made it mainstream. And so when I see it, I'm like, people just don't get it. This is it. This is part of this big secret. And it's all around. I don't know how many times people talk to me about, when I share my story, like their symptoms of their family members. Somebody I've disconnected to them, and I start talking, and I give them the website. The irony is, like, my dad was mentioned, like, hey, you know what, you're kind of more advanced. I think anybody can do it, but you have to be able to believe that you can do it. And I think that's just part of maybe they're not, they don't see it as an extreme case. I knew that this is something that I wanted to do, and that no one was going to tell me I couldn't do it. And people did say that, because they're going to be in that other mindset, whether they believe in the medical field, or you can't do it without taking the pill. And I knew for sure that this was going to be life changing, and I didn't even realize how much life-changing this would be.
Yeah.
You know, until I'm here with you now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so you went through the detox, so the increased bowel motions, the bleeding in the stools, and all that stuff happens, right? The diarrhea,
Yeah.
the weight loss, and yeah, it's I know it's an uncomfortable experience, but you know, I guess Sham says this. I'm sure you feel this as well. You know, like to go through that so that you can experience what you've got now is worth it. You do it. You know, most people will do it again if they get to experience what they have once they heal. So what did it feel like as you started to come out of the detox and as the body started to heal? Just talk about some of the changes you saw as things started to get better.
The stools just became obviously more formed, and that was the key that there. You know, I think we try to get that last speck of, because for me, I don't know if I'm like hypersensitive to that, but that was that made my heart pump scared when I would see that, you know,
The blood,
or just, yeah, or yeah, when I saw blood. I mean, it could be 1 or 2 drops or whatever. It's like I wasn't healed. Like I don't know if there's a competition thing for me. I wanted to get that health. I'm gonna do whatever it took. Like I think we went to all fruit, and that was something new. I was like thinking, yeah, I didn't even think about that. And then, but when that happened, I felt it was blissful, you know, because you're like, wow, I did it, kind of a thing. And you know, everything that we were talking about.
Like, talk about your energy levels shifting as you come out of the detox as well, because that's a
well, my weight was a big thing because, you know, I think flushing everything out and then rebuilding, and I know that could take over a year. That for me, that was something that took me a while, as far as like gaining the weight and the strength and all that. But my energy levels were, well, first of all, I was, you know, over the moon about where I was, and but yeah, tons of energy, walks. I didn't really start working out, but I think from a standpoint of how happy I was, you know, I can't put it into words. It was just like, yep, I said I was going to do it, and I did it. And I think we kept working with each other all through the summer in 2020. We kept working with each other, and so, you know, between it being the perfect time, because obviously the sun was great, and you know, I was just never fell off that diet too. I always kept even till now, I'm very regimented. I do my smoothies every day. Now I incorporate greens in my smoothies with the bananas and fruits. And so I don't skip a beat. It's like, you know, pretty dedicated. I think that's part of it, because I didn't want to be with people sharing. I didn't want to be, you know, have regress into, you know, that other lifestyle. I was not a drinker before, but you know, that's something I don't, you know, I stay away from all these things, sugar and alcohol, and follow that regimen that you talked about too. You know, that's just implemented in my DNA now. It really is. So
fantastic. So yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it took a good 3 or so months for you to get rid of all your symptoms and start getting your energy back, and you know, and then we kind of built on that and reintroduced all the food back into your diet so that you could kind of, and I think it took you a while as well, because you just wanted to take it really slow and steady as you built back the microbiome and got the variety back into your diet. But yeah, I mean, it's been a year, but more than a year since you finished the program officially. And you know, I know we've been in touch every now and then, but you know, it's been a while since we've actually properly caught up. So talk about how, you know, how your life has been since August 2020, and so, you know, more than a year of having your health back and having the symptoms gone, and you've been able to maintain that now. So let's just talk about what that's like, and then if we can just relate that back to what it was like before, you know, so the comparison between before and after.
Well, I think in a nutshell, like, you're in control. You like nothing's gonna, I dictate what happens, you know.
Mm.
My bowel movements are 2 to 3 times a day. It's the average, and it's exactly what David Klein said and you guys said. And you go to the bathroom, and it's like, you know, I never think about how I don't ever take that for granted. You know,
Mm.
it's a blessing to have that. You know, exactly what it said would happen. You know, I think just it's a testament to me, you know, having faith in your program is that I never stop thinking about it, never stop talking about it. It comes up in conversation. Um, you know, obviously to help other people where I can. I can't make people do it, but it always comes up. It's really a big part of my life now. Um, so yeah, it's where I'm at now. I mean, and being accepting what those changes have done. Even most of them are positive, obviously, but you know, people still can't get around. Like, I remember a guy came up to me. He's like, "Man, you're so skinny." It's like, you know, it's just part of
Mm.
um, having gone through that. And I'm 10 times healthier than I was,
Mm.
which is the irony, you know, because when I was playing and, you know, my leg muscles were so much bigger and, you know, that wasn't healthy because
Mm.
I was still systemically sick with something that didn't get worse, but it was there. Now I feel like I'm healthy, you know, truly healthy. Um, and that's basically, having said that, that's where I'm at right now. That's how I feel. I feel
Mm.
confident, uh, energetic. I sleep better. My skin is so much better. It's like, you
Mm.
know, you think about anything, the regrets of not knowing things earlier, but hey, you got to go through to really figure it out. You got to get kicked on your butt sometimes to,
Mm.
you know, um, learn about yourself and learn about
Mm.
these. But yeah, it's really
Yeah, and you're
important.
talking about your skin issues as well. I mean, you had psoriasis since you were 5 years old, so you know it's obviously been bugging you for quite a while. And you're telling me it's almost gone now, almost gone.
It's so funny. It's yeah, I've had some spots, and you know, it's not like something I've had all over, but these little spots like pop up, and this is, I think, just incorporating a little bit more of the greens with the
Hmm.
smoothies is just what you guys were always talking about. What Klein was always talking about, that extra nutrition that, you know, you're probably not going to get, and it's just eating more greens, you know. And this is just putting it in your smoothie where you don't have to eat it as much, and you're just getting more vitamins with their natural vitamins, deeper cell replacement, or, you know, enhancement, you know,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
rough it.
greens are some of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet. It's just, you know, you can't sustain yourself on them because they're so low in calories. But as a boost to everything that you're eating, you can't really go wrong as long as you can digest them. And so, you know, it would be great if you could have, you know, you could digest them when you've got a, you know, a healing crisis where you're so inflamed in the bowels, got lots of I guess bowel motions and diarrhea and things like that. But you can't, you know, you can't eat that fiber at that point. So you got to like heal your gut,
Hold off.
rebuild
Yeah.
the strength in there so that you can get the varieties. And so, yeah, obviously increasing your greens content once you finish the program has again taken it to a different level, you know, in incorporating extra nutrition into your diet.
Yeah, that's it. You're just waiting till you can till everything's healed, and then, you know, taking it to that next level. And that's what it is. And that's something, you know, it is part of the program already, but past the 6 month, and, you know, you're healed, or and, you know, that we're talking about somebody, for me, that probably hasn't had that for a while, and seeing that, incorporating that, and then skin healing, you know, where before it would just, you know, it was systemic, and it was something like you couldn't figure out, and you put ointment on this and that. But yeah, almost 100% done. And again, it's a slow process, but you know, and even doing that within when the winter's coming up, when you have vitamin D, it's even easier. So I'm sure once the spring rolls around, I'm pretty sure, like, with the whole food plant-based diet, incorporating greens, stress, everything else, it's really managing after that, and really being in control of your health, because you're talking about billions and billions of dollars that people spend to keep themselves, you know, yeah, psoriasis or whatever, eczema free. That's the whole game. And so I wanted that. One of the goals was trying to have a lifestyle. I was already part of that, right? But knowing those other things that could help me. And so a lot of things that you guys have shared, books and links, just as they come up, just reading other things about that. Those have been really helpful. So it's all a big whirlwind of everybody trying to help themselves, and I'm just now I'm in that mix, and that's been really helpful for me. And then helping my family members too, with my kids. Now they think you guys are superstars and more famous than Hollywood people, which is good. It's like, is Shukul, Shamiz, is that them? They're helping you again? Like, what do they have to say? So I think that has been really good too, that my kids and my family are part of this whole journey. They know just as me. They know just the same as me. When they see the commercials of some people that are sick, it's like, don't they know they can just get on a whole food plant-based diet? Yeah.
All right. Yes. I mean, it's been I guess, a really inspirational journey to see, I guess, being diagnosed in 2005. So it's, 15 years of dealing with the situation. Obviously, it wasn't as severe as some people might get, but it's always there in the background until you actually deal with it properly. And going through the whole healing process and getting yourself back again, and giving yourself a second chance, of getting your life back and not being chained to the toilet, etc. Anytime someone goes through something like that, you learn a lot about yourself, about your situation, about life, about health. So, I always like for all of our clients to give some advice to people who are watching based on your own experience of healing and what you've learned as you've gone through that process. So yeah, what advice would you give someone who's watching, who's kind of maybe thinking about embarking on their own health journey, maybe, and hopefully soon?
Yeah, it was an easy decision for me, but if you're thinking about it, I mean, I guess just visualizing what your perfect kind of life would be like, and that's, I think that's part of it, is just you gotta, if you can think it, you can become it, and you can do it. And this process is, I don't want to say it's easy, but man, it's so enjoyable once you figure things out for yourself. I mean, it's blissful. It is like heaven. And I've soaked it up. And so if anybody is thinking about it, I know it's easy to say, just do it. It's gonna change your life. You got to be part of this roller coaster, though, that at least at the start. But it's just something. And here I am on the other side when I see every people talk about. It's like, what are they talking about? This is it. You gotta just embrace it. And you guys have shown so many people that way, and you've done it in style too. It's pretty easy too, with how you guys lay everything out in that respect. Now doing it might be difficult, but getting people on your side to help you, that support you, people have been so great about that. I think my only regret is to reach out more to people that were going through it, and I wanted to do it on my own. Maybe that was part of my struggle a little bit, because I really, again, I was goal oriented. So yeah, but you can even use it as, to be competitive and say, I'm gonna do this in however long. I mean, don't give yourself that much, don't put pressure on yourself. But these foods are, you know, are a savior. And they're really just the natural foods that we always known of. I mean, it's no secret. It really has been there the whole time that you can get foods just down the street. Those are your medicine. That's your medicine, opposed to spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars and getting information from people that don't know as much about nutrition. That's the healer. And so the thing that I'm always like kicking myself is like that was there the whole time and I missed it. You know what I mean? So, but the knowledge that we gain, and that's
yeah. There's nothing really new that we're teaching. It's stuff that's been forgotten. As there's been conditioning over the last 100 and so years with the medical model, and I won't beat around the bush. You have to say it. I mean, there's been conditioning that your body cannot heal, that food has nothing to do with illness and things like that. And it's absolutely wrong. And it needs to, we need to come back to that knowledge that we had about the body, about how it can heal, how we can be healthy instead of treating symptoms. The whole world is focused on treating symptoms instead of actually preventing them in the first place. Instead of being healthy and preventing those things in the first place. And as I said, we knew this stuff. If you look at language is the key. It tells us a lot of different things. Ease and dis-ease. So we're going from between ease and dis-ease when we get sick. When something good happens, what do we say? Oh, that was fruitful. Right. So you went through that experience, Chris. That was fruitful, literally.
Yeah, and I always say, like, I did hear it from the doctor. So as many people have talked about, like, food does not matter. I mean, I think they're trained to say that too. And I was like, I didn't know anything at the time, but now I say, if you hear that, run out of there, because you want to be working with somebody that obviously believes in that. That's going to be was everything for me and countless other people, hundreds, thousands of other people that have followed this path. And it's just, I think the irony is it's not part of the majority, and that's where, I hope like this message goes to many people that I am one that was part of that, I didn't believe in it. I didn't know what to believe at the time, but even grow up in that medical model, but you definitely all of a sudden question it. Maybe I'd questioned it before, but it was a different route. Now I'm really saying, no, this is nothing's gonna take this away from me, and it's part of my whole, as we've talked before, it's really just my path in life. It really it's so part of who I am, literally of who I am and what I talk about and how I help people, as an educator now. I try to help families and students, not only help with their academics, but it's their social emotional health. And try to provide some other information and assistance. And part of that is just my life. I've had a lot of experience, and this is just another huge part of my relationship to help others. And now I have a deeper relationship with food. And that's just it's priceless. You can't put a money tag on it. It's
brilliant, man. It's inspiring, and it makes us so happy because this is what we do it for. It's not something we kind of grew up wanting to do. It was kind of, we found it and just wanted to help others. And when you help yourself, and you get out of it, that's just means everything to us. Get your life back. You're not suffering any longer, and we're incredibly proud of what you've done and what you've been able to achieve. So congratulations and well done. You have a life after colitis, and that's
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to say at the end of these, interviews is you have a life after colitis, and get on with it and make the most of it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful life too. It's really, like I said, it's blissful, and I never take it for granted. I always think about how lucky I am, and how short my visits to the bathroom are. And I'm always thankful. It's never will it be the same. It's like, oh, looks great. Oh, everything. Oh, I'm done. Oh, I'm done. I can, I can just, this is awesome. It's like before, and you, sometimes you just, it's a thought, but it's always a thought, like being thankful for that. Because it's blissful. I just can't say that enough. It's like, you just can, you think about those times. I guess that's part of my life too, is thinking about, where I've come from, what I've had to deal with, the goods and the bads, and this was a bad situation that is turned positive. And I want people, to experience that, and I guess that's what we're talking about, helping other people. Is I really want, when people are suffering, there's an answer for you, man. And I hope they seek you guys out and work with you. That would, yeah, of course, that's, people have to go through their own journey, but I think you guys are there for a lot of people, and hopefully will help many, many, many others.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy life to share your story with us. I know it's really personal, and you're giving away so much valuable information. And I think the reason we do this is to give back. We've found out, most of our clients, we find out about it through the testimonials that other people have healed it and think, okay, I can do it myself, and now you're paying it forward. Man, it's a wonderful thing to share that, and give hope to other people. People sitting there struggling through it. You can do it too. You have to believe in yourself, and you can do it too. But for everyone who's watching the video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch Chris's story and hear how he's been able to heal himself. And hopefully it's inspired you to take control of your own health, because he's definitely done that. Worked really hard on it, and spent a lot of time and effort to get to where he is now. But he's reaping the rewards. So congratulations again. For everyone watching this on YouTube, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed hearing that one, and if you got inspired by what he's been able to achieve, what Chris has been able to achieve. If you have any questions or comments, there's a comments box below. Just write it down there, and we'll try and get to that as best as we can. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that little subscribe button and the bell notification icon, which will give you updates of all our recent uploads. And if you're listening on the podcast, it's awesome to have you here. We just started the podcast, and so feel free to share this around to as many people as you can, to let people know that you can have a life after colitis and Crohn's. You don't have to be reliant on medications for the rest of your life. So Chris, once again, mate, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Absolutely. It's been awesome, and appreciate everything you've done for me and my family.
You're welcome, mate. And for those of you watching, and for you too, Chris, mate, remember, eat plants and lots of them. Take care, everyone. Give this video a thumbs up if you know what it's like to live with IBD, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. This channel is designed to help people recover from colitis, Crohn's, and any other form of IBD. You can always head to our website, highcarbhealth.com, for a free 30-minute consultation from anywhere in the world. And remember, there is a life after colitis.